New York City just hard launched a hipster revolution. About 14 years ago, New York City and I had a really bad breakup. I don't even like visiting the place anymore. So I might be experiencing a tiny bit of schadenfreude over Zoran Mamdani's victory yesterday in the mayoral election. As in, oh, your new girlfriend is a total psycho? How terrible for you. But actually, I'm mostly just aghast. Primary blame for Mamdani's win, in my opinion, rests with Andrew Cuomo, perhaps the only establishment Democrat with less going for him than Kamala Harris. The chutzpah of that man to put himself forward, even after losing the primary in June, and only a few short years after resigning in disgrace from the governor's office, it's astounding. So now, New York City is stuck with the Democratic Socialists of America. Their platform is abolish prisons and borders, free and unrestricted access to sex change operations, legalization of prostitution, the abolition of Israel. For some reason, this was an issue in the mayoral race, and of course, socialism. Goodbye, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Goodbye, Chuck Schumer. Goodbye, Andrew Cuomo. You are all now relics of history, hoisted by your own petards. Your children and grandchildren have come to appropriate your shit. Well, at least New York's spoiled, creative, underemployed hipster community finally has real political representation. Only they could support the policy of government-run supermarkets. Imagine looking at the filthy New York City public transportation system and thinking, we should do this, but with food. How was this possible in the city of global finance? The city famous for its neighborhoods bustling with hardworking immigrant shopkeepers, the city that was a bastion of Jewish culture, the city where no one cared what you thought, as long as you didn't walk too slowly or block traffic. What happened to that New York City? I'll tell you what happened. Woke happened. The transnational cultural elites, born out of liberal values, have officially soured on those liberal values, and they've gone full commie, or as we call it today, woke. Mamdani's upbringing as the child of globe-trotting culture workers is something I am well familiar with, because I'm one too. New York is full of such people, and it used to be partly what made it great. When I lived there, we had friends who were Persian, Moroccan, Kenyan, Senegalese, second generation Indian, Irish, Italian, Jewish, Puerto Rican. I say this not to burnish my libtard, affluent liberal white lady credentials, but to say that New York was in fact a pretty successful experiment in multiculturalism. People who came to New York from all over the world came to work, to achieve, to be among other people of the same mindset. Mamdani is also a product of the cultural elite liberal multiculturalism. He is the wet dream of the progressive millennial. He and his exotic hipster wife could not be more on trend. This makes them incredibly appealing to white, affluent, progressive, USA-born Americans. Because the affluent, white, liberal experiences huge guilt and self-hatred for the accident of being born in the greatest, most free place on earth, and so maniacally tries to cleanse themselves of that original sin through acts of political self-harm. This is the rotting carcass of liberalism. There is no other kind that holds any sway at this point. Of course, the greatest harm will not be to the rich kids who worked tirelessly to get him elected. The Nepo baby demographic can always run back to mommy and daddy's Park Avenue apartment. It's going to be the people in the uncool outer borough neighborhoods, people who did not vote for him, by the way. The people who come to New York to work every hour of the day in restaurant kitchens and driving taxis, cleaning up after old people in old folks' homes. There are still millions of people like that in New York City, but they just lost their political representation. And they will be the ones who will suffer the most from Mamdani's dangerous policies. Saving New York from the hipster revolutionaries is going to be a hell of a difficult job. If you like this, you can find more of my work at jennyeholland.substack.com. And thank you for saving culture with me.